No pun intended. Anyway, so yeah, next topic. There is
Next topic.
there is no
All
nepotism in
right.
these. XDG raised the bar in one area only, and that was in nepotism. So
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We'll talk a little bit. I think you wanted to talk about the Fnatic PR thing, right? Fnatic PR, I think, stunt involving their announcement of being sponsored by Avast, this company that specializes in anti-hacking, just antivirus, anti DDoS, apparently, according to them too, which I didn't actually know if they did that or not. But Richard, I know you want to talk about that too. So thoughts on that whole bit, and maybe if just kind of updating them. What happened was, I think a few of their players, right? They apparently had hacking incidents happen to them, and it just happened that it happens right before this announcement that they're being sponsored by Avast. So was this a marketing ploy, or did it just happen to be just very, very bad timing?
no, it was 100% a marketing ploy. I mean, it's not even up for discussion. I think they've subsequently come out and slapped each other on the back about how successful it was. What I found interesting about this is, like, for those that don't know, Fnatic have a very good pedigree of doing these almost like kind of viral advertising campaigns. That when they launched a new website, they pretended the old one had been hacked by some super elite hacker, and they used the name of the coder as the name of the hacker, and they do things like this. They're quite good at making announcements and making a wave. So what happened was like Devil Walk from the CS:GO, I think it was Hearthstone in StarCraft, XPeke, and No Tail in Dota were all simultaneously hacked after a password got leaked.
Okay.
Khan,
Yeah.
their CGO or something, came out and did a statement about how these people must be destroyed because they're killing esports, and people criticized him for how cheesy the statement was. Obviously, now realizing it was a PR stunt, it's kind of funny. But they were saying that it was way over the top and blah blah blah. And then, of course, the next day they announced that they're sponsored with Avast or whatever. Now, the communities reacted very diversely to this, but I'd probably say it's a 70-30 split, with 70% of people saying it was disgusting and immoral.
You think it was 70%?
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's pretty equal,
yeah.
I think. But okay.
Okay, well, let's say 60-40, just so my point remains valid. Can we do that?
Okay, alright, fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. It's great to be a guest. Right. Basically, I think it definitely was more in favour of people saying it was disgusting and immoral, because you shouldn't make fun of DDoSing.
Yeah.
It's a very serious problem in esports. Listen, I think you're missing the fucking point of advertising if you're going to apportion some sort of moralistic, things you can talk about, can't talk about, and what they did was they got people talking, and they made an otherwise dull, an otherwise dull sponsorship announcement that would have created zero fucks in the community without it. They made people talk about it. I mean, like, Fnatic signing Avast as a sponsor is as boring can be.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's true.
Think about it. It's the most fucking lame story. Like, I wouldn't have reported it if they hadn't have done the drama. I wouldn't if they'd sent me a press release as well as I get on with the guys at Fnatic. I'm not publishing that. But I did get duped because it happened at about 3 in the morning, and I didn't have all my faculties. And I wrote up a news post about them being hacked when they weren't. And they made me look stupid, and good on them for doing it, because I certainly wouldn't have wrote a story about them signing Avast as a sponsor. So people saying it's disgusting and missing the point, I think.
No, I agree with you. I think it's anything to make a sponsorship more a sponsorship announcement more interesting. Some people make videos, some funny videos, and this is just something different. And yeah, the topic of DDoSing and hacking is a little bit sensitive, and a lot of people just don't even mention the word, right? Don't even mention the acronym, because it's just going to encourage people to do it and that sort of thing. Yeah. I think in this case, it's fine.
The only person I think who's actually offered anything intelligent to the whole DDoS discussion lately is Steven.
Well, Steven actually provides solutions to it. So
yeah,
that's like...
I didn't like any of the advertising. I wish they would have put a trigger warning on it, because I started having flashbacks as soon as I started. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm being facetious.
Oh, man.
But no, like, everyone else is just like, look, it's so pathetic to sort of talk about DDoS is where like you do what you can to protect yourself. I know it's very hard to protect against DDoS, right? Obviously, and you can't avoid it. It's gonna happen. But like when everyone gets up in arms and beats their chest about it and talks about revenge and like there's Reddit threads saying, "Oh, we've got the guy's name and address. Who wants it? All you're doing is like these people have personality disorders. They're attention seeking. You know, they want a negative response, and when you give that to them, that encourages it. It encourages it way more than ignoring them and just doing the sensible thing, which is trying to protect yourself. And when they do it, and you get the details of them, prosecute them. It's against the law. I've not heard, right, in my entire time in esports, I've not heard of one DDoSer being prosecuted.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk real fast.
Is that...
First of all, it's actually a little bit of a misconception that people DDoS for attention. While they do DDoS for attention, they do like the attention. That's undeniable. There are people that fucking... I don't know what happened over the past like year and a half. I don't know if it's something in the water or some shit happened on the internet that fucking got kids like interested in it. But there have been like 4 or 5 people out into the scene that are like crazy fucking malicious with the shit that they fucking do. The social engineering to hack Skype accounts, to get into email accounts, to swat people, to call pizzas to houses, like just shit like this has gotten so much fucking worse over the past 4 or 5 years. I actually feel really bad for girls trying to break into streaming because it's actually, I think it's affected them the most. Because there are some guys that just fucking go around and do all that fucking shit to people that stream. It's just like absolutely fucking insane. There's the DDoS squad guy, like literally all they fucking do is they'll spend like a day where like, okay, well today I'm gonna go to every single fucking stream today and just knock all of them down, and then I'm gonna tweet at every single person when I knock them down. Like people fucking do that shit, and it's absolutely crazy. Yeah. There is a guy that there's a guy that I'm friends with or whatever that I found out was doing or not. Well, this guy was harassing a whole bunch of people, and so like I tried to be friends with him or whatever, so we could laugh about it and joke about it, so I could figure out like what exactly they do or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Some fucking double agent shit, right? But like basically, all they do is. It's just a funny thing where they go around, they hit streams, they try to get people to like send them like their contact info or like give me like a picture of you like holding up a sign saying I owned you or whatever, like stupid shit like that. It's really easy to hack into people's Skypes. So like you go to like the Skype support, a lot of Skype people you can convince them to unlock an account for you. If you call in, you're like my sister died, I really need access to this account, I had important information, please, like we're really tragic right now, but shit like that. Like you can weasel your way into accounts like that via Skype very, very, very easily. And a lot of people have recommended that in Skype you go into your account details and you put a note saying under no circumstance should you release a password or whatever. I don't know if it actually helps or not, but like there's so much shit like that those guys do. The people that are DDoSing aren't only DDoSing, but they also go into all of that other shit. And trying to harass people, like I said, whether it's swatting people, you make a phone call to the police, you go, oh my god, like somebody's holding my dad hostage at my address, blah 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 blah, and that causes the police to sometimes they'll break down the door if they think it's a hostage situation, and it's just a whole bunch of really fucking stupid shit that happens. It happened to Phantom Lord recently with those other DDoSer guys. It's happened to other girls and other people. The biggest problem is that when Richard Lewis talked about when you just mentioned like why don't any of these guys go to jail, is that the internet is like the internet is the big wild west. The internet is literally the fucking wild west where there are no rules, there are no laws, everything goes, and the only kind of ammunition that you have to attack people is money. Literally nobody gives a fuck about anything on the internet. The FBI doesn't give a fuck. No police force will give a fuck about anything. And I know this because personally, I was interviewed by the FBI like fucking 3 or 4 times in dealing with my thing, and absolutely fucking nothing came from it fucking ever. Nobody did a thing about anything. Talked to and threatened by fucking local police in fucking North Carolina, I think, where they fucking apparently there's an arrest warrant waiting for me for harassing the kid that was DDoSing me. The fucking sheriff called me, he was like, don't you go talking about this online because it'll hamper our investigation. Well, and then fucking nothing ever came from that. Literally nothing on the internet. Yeah, literally nothing on the internet is given a fuck about by any like police people unless you have the money to actually back it up. And you can see evidence of this literally anywhere. You can harass anybody, you can make fucking threats, you can do whatever the fuck you want on the internet. I think California just recently finally published legislation saying that it's like you can get into legal trouble for posting like revenge nudes or whatever, but like aside from that, I mean, like, you can see evidence of this in so many places. Look at how many companies abuse the DMCA bullshit on fucking YouTube. That should be like an executable offense. Like, I would chip in money for a fucking hit squad to go and fucking kill the CEOs of these companies that abuse that DMCA shit on YouTube, because it's abused really fucking bad. And there are a lot of people that have suffered a lot of and it's an unwinnable fucking situation. Somebody files a DMCA claim against your channel. Okay, well, I can go through the 1 month fucking period of trying to repeal this, and I get one shot, and if you lose, it's a permanent strike against your channel. Fuck that shit, because you get 3 strikes and your channel's closed the fuck down, and you're never getting through that. Everything about the internet is just super fucked right now. I know that, like, all of us like to, and like 3 years ago I would have agreed. I love to jerk off at the, oh, it's open, no fucking regulation, oh my god, my libertarian fucking wet dreams. But it does come with its drawbacks, and that's that if you don't have a lot of money, nobody's gonna give a fuck about trying to help you with any problems that you have on the internet. Least of all, you know, a DDoSer that's interfering with your video game stream.
I mean, it's interesting actually. No, that's very
good.
A valid point, dude. I mean, like, it's a bit different in the UK. I can definitely say that. Like, we're a bit more, what's the word? Puritanical, I guess. A bit more sanctimonious about our application. Like, prime example, like, you know that diver Tom Daly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Platform
you know,
diver. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So it was a thing that he was, you know, everyone was speculating that he was gay for ages, and then he went to some event. He didn't dive particularly well, and the abuse he was getting on Twitter was, and his dad had died not that long ago. So the abuse he was kind of getting was along the lines of, not only are you shit at diving, you're gay, your dead dad would be, you know, is screaming in hell at your, you know, faggoty ways and all of this nonsense. That was the sort of shit that was being tweeted at him. Now,
wait, are you talking about me? What?
I think that what should happen at that point is Twitter should just shut it down. Like, they should just shut down that account, and maybe they say, okay, they write to the person affected and say, we're monitoring it, we've got his IPs, we're going to keep an eye on it. But in the UK, that dude got arrested. Like that, bang, arrested. And if you abuse footballers through Twitter, arrested. You put racist tweets, arrested. During the riots we had in Birmingham, which I went out and actually covered and did films for, which got picked up by Reuters. I was dressed as a thug with like a scarf over my face. They arrested people who were going onto Facebook and organizing to meet people for the express purposes of rioting. Like, we've got a way different approach to what you can and can't say on social media here, and I think the perception is that the UK is very liberal, which it is in some areas, but certainly in social media we're having a massive clampdown. It's a very vogue topic at the moment. People are talking about it in the news and stuff.
I think it goes along the lines of what Steven said. If you got money, if you're Tom Daly or you're a famous football / soccer player, you've got money behind you, and then they can go after you. And you see that too with some of the celebrities here. I mean, it's libel and stuff.
To be fair, it's not just celebrities that are benefiting from that, but obviously celebrities are the stories that make the news. So that's why it seems that way. But, you know, like, did anyone see? I linked a news story. I can't remember what it was. I think I might have been on another show, or I might have just been alone in my room with my computer turned off, talking to myself. I can never tell. But there was a story about a woman who got arrested for trolling herself in the UK. She created. No, seriously, Google this. Woman becomes first person arrested for trolling self. Google that now. What she did was she created a load of malicious accounts on Facebook and like on social media, and was basically sending herself abusive messages. Police got involved and were trying to track down who the 30 accounts who were abusing her were, and it was her. It was like some Munchausen's by proxy shit. She was just mental.
Oh man.
So I mean, so we're pretty cool. We're pretty cool in the UK.
Whoa.
I actually. So that's an interesting story. And just before we do go on, I want to say that, like, I know, what do you make of this? Because I had a guy, I woke up one day, and I had, like, I always retweet all the abuse I get. Like, can I do anything about this? Do I have any legal rights? Is there anything I can do? There was a Twitter account called CBoss Team Solo Mid #1. And I will just read you the stream of conscious tweets he sent me before he stopped. Why do you even wake up, you bald fucking loser? Travis Monteithorn, all successful known while you're a fucking loser. You'll notice the recurring word loser here. You wake up yet today, you bald faggot. You have no job. Go kill yourself. You're going nowhere. Why even wake up, you fucking loser of a man? Bald, old, women think you're ugly. There's no punctuation here, by the way, guys. And a loser. It's sad to be you. Fucking sucks to be you. You're a loser in esports. Walk into any convention. No one knows you or asks for pictures. Fucking has to be embarrassing to be you, to have to validate to your small 4,000 followers. You're the definition of a failure. Can't even be successful as an amateur journalist in esports. You're the definition of failure. Thorin left your broken nose, loser out.
Okay.
Grab this. Go kill yourself, broke, old, bald. No woman want to be with you. So, can I do anything about this? Like, do I have any rights? Like, can I do?
I mean,
something?
according to what
I
you're
feel
saying,
hurt.
you do have rights, right?
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, so no, I definitely think it's interesting. Like we're way more like, I get what Steven's saying about like money buys you interest, but over here we're getting very sensitive about it, and I think I think no doubt David Cameron, our Prime Minister, in a bid to get some easy votes at the next election, or bring in some fucking ridiculous policies, you know, about like what you can and can't say on the internet and what you can and can't do, and I got no doubt that that's gonna encompass DDoSers. I think they're in for a rude awakening. I just think it's really sad when I talk to people privately and I say to them, are you pursuing legal action? And they say, yeah. And I go, well, why don't you tell people that? So maybe DDoSers become discouraged, and it looks
Unfortunately,
like
they don't ever become discouraged.
Make it a target. They say
The
that.
problem is that they don't become discouraged unless legal action actually carries through. They'll just laugh at you. If you tell any DDoS like, oh, I'm gonna fucking do, they just laugh at you openly in a fucking chat room, and you can't. It's just so hard to get anybody to give a fuck about this stuff.
It's hard to scare people unless you know, there's been something to point at where they've gotten fucked, you know. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things. It's kind of crazy.
So yeah, I don't know. I just think like I just want to see the first DDoSer actually go to prison, and I think that will change things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we're that far away from that.
No, it's coming. I don't know who it's going to be. I think the interesting thing is as well, though, like we had one. In fact, again, I can talk personally. We got in touch with the Belgian Cyber Crimes Division. We had a guy doing it to our sites, a guy called Kevinos. He's a fucking loser. I mean, when you see this douchebag, it's embarrassing. And he's like been attacking our sites for ages. And yeah, Kevinos DDoS, he calls himself. And I think we got in touch with the Belgian Cyber Crimes Division. I don't know what's come of that, because all I had to do was collect evidence and give statements. But this guy, you know, we're trying to do something about it. Like, we're actually trying to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I wish more people would. I think it's a matter of time before there's this massive backlash, because it's starting to fuck with everyone's shit. And I don't even understand what it achieves. Like, you take someone like Destiny down for a day, and you make him lose a day's money. Like,
well, let's talk about DreamHack. Right? They had DDoSing issues, and this was like the first event, right, with the new studio. What do you guys think of that? I mean, what do you think of that whole thing?
Well, I think it's you know, it sucks for DreamHack. I know that much. DreamHack generally run these amazing, awesome events, and this was like their inaugural event in a new fucking studio. Invite for the CS:GO, big deal for the CS:GO community. And some fucker DDoSes it, and you know, and now we're being told, oh, we all know who it is. If you go in the CS:GO subreddit, people are saying we've got his info. Well, fucking do something with it. And I ain't talking about DDoSing back. You know, that's not going to achieve anything. You know, I'm sure DreamHack would like to know who it was.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I really feel for them. DreamHack are trying to do good work, but it just goes to show, a company DreamHack size maybe shouldn't be that susceptible. I don't know enough about the technical side of things to say whether they could have done more to prevent
The problem is that like the DDoS amplification techniques have gotten to such a point that even Cloudflare has had trouble dealing with some people who are like the go-to people for DDoS prevention. So like it's getting to the point where like the cost of doing business on the internet might become prohibitively expensive. I can't like I think even like the basic Cloudflare service is like $300 a month. Which I guess isn't that expensive, but I think it scales with size too. So I don't know, like it might get to the point where like people are gonna have to start investing a whole lot of money in DDoS protection just to have like a site that's able to function, because the The problem is that, and I don't know the specifics, but the problem is that there are a lot of amplification techniques that make it possible for you to spoof a large amount of traffic using a little bit of traffic. The last time was using some clock bullshit. I like I said, I would have to go back and read the details on it to explain it better. But basically, it's the idea that you can take a 1 gigabit per second network and generate, like 50 gigabits per second of malicious traffic, which means that all of a sudden, even if you've got like a really big pipe, people with access to either a lot of different computers or certain networks are able to send such huge attacks because of the amplification techniques that dealing with those attacks becomes incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Restart your cams.
I have done. Sorry, I was just.
Surprise. Camera's
I think
getting
Kevin
frozen. Yeah.
I think Kevin found me. I'm done. That's it.
You
It's
too,
over.
Steven. You gotta restart. Well, why don't we? It's probably a good time to take a quick break, and we'll go into the Twitch Plays Pokemon segments coming up. So get ready, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, we'll be back.
Can someone DDoS